Hello learners, this is Habeeba with Excelwithme. If you like the video, please do like, share, subscribe and comment below. Let's start today's class, that is research problem. Third topic, that is criteria or characteristics of a good research problem. If you like the video, please do like, share, subscribe and comment below. Let's start with the research problem once again. Let's recapitulate what is a research problem. Research starts with delineating the research problem, that is what we want to solve and what questions we want to answer. That is the simple statement. That is what is a research problem. That is it starts with the delineating the research problem by that is what we want to solve and what questions we want to answer. So that is the simple statement. Now let's understand the criteria or characteristics of a good research problem. Research problems have various characteristics that are important during the experimental process. Understanding these aspects of a research problem can help as you identify and create your own whatever research problem you want to. So let's see some characteristics. What do they include? Number one, reflecting on issues or required knowledge in a particular field. Suppose you are dealing with maybe social sciences or teacher education, you have to find knowledge related to that particular field. Now, relying on evidence and data, that is very important. You have to review the research literature and then you have to rely on those evidences. Whatever evidences or findings or results you read, you have to rely on them. Then being practical and manageable for the researchers involved in data collection and analysis. Obviously, you have to be very practical and also will be able to manage the researchers, whoever are involved in data collection and analysis. Now, let's discuss one by one. The problem can be stated clearly and concisely. Let's see the characteristics of a good thesis research problem. General, I have told you right now. Now, related to thesis research problem. Number one, the problem can be stated clearly and concisely. That is must for any research problem. Unless the problem can be stated clearly and concisely, it is probably a poor problem or not a problem, non-problem. The best way to test the problem statement is to write it into a concise sentence or paragraph and to share it with others. You have to share others so that they can give you ideas how to make it simpler and so that it can reach to many readers. Easily they can understand. If it is complicated, first of all, reader will not be interested in reading your thesis or the whatever problem you have taken. So what you have to do is that should be concise and then it should be shared with others. If the problem cannot be stated in a clear paragraph, it has difficulties and will not endure as a suitable problem. Of course, it is not easy to express complex issues in simplistic terms, and it may take many weeks and countless drafts before the statement is satisfactory. So, you need good critics also. They are very essential. Good critics are essential to frame your statement or issue or challenge or problem. So, better your statement or problem should be clear and concise. Second, the problem generates research questions. Your problem should be like that, which can generate research question. The problem should generate a number of more specific research questions. These turn the problem into a question format and represent various aspects or components of the problem. So, the research questions make the more general statement easier to address and provide a framework for the research. Now, formulating these questions can be a challenge, particularly specifying them at the right level of abstraction. So the second best characteristic is the problem must generate some research questions. Obviously, if the statement is not giving you any questions or anything, how you will proceed with the further investigation or research. Third one, it is grounded in theory. Obviously, good problems have theoretical and or conceptual frameworks for their analysis. They relate the specifics of what is being investigated to a more general background of theory, which helps interpret the results and link it to the field. Obviously, good problems, theoretical or conceptual framework for the analysis, that is very important, grounded in theory, the whatever problem you are selecting. The fourth one, it relates to one or more academic fields of study. So, good problems relate to academic fields which have adherents and boundaries. They typically have journals to which adherents relate. So, research problems which do not have clear links to one or two such fields of study are generally in trouble. So, without such a field, it becomes impossible to determine where in the universe of knowledge the problem lies. So, it should relate to one or more academic fields of study. You should not stick to just one area. So, it should relate to one or more fields. Fifth one, it has a base in the research literature. Obviously, related to the former points, a well-stated problem will relate to a research literature. First of all, you select a problem, but when you do lots of literature review, then the depth of your issue you will understand. Then tight problems often relate to a well-defined body of literature written by a select group of researchers and published in a small number of journals. With some problems, it might at first be difficult to establish the connections and literature base, but there should be a base somewhere. It's not easy. First, you have to pick out the things which are related to your topic, a review. That topic should be published by the author many times, so that will be the reliable findings you will have in that. Then you can proceed with your own questions, research questions. The sixth one is it has potential significance or importance. Obviously, when you are doing any research work, if it doesn't have any potential significance or importance, there will be no use of doing any research work. This is the important so what question. Who cares once you solve the problem? Assume that you have solved the problem and answered the questions, and then ask yourself if you are any further ahead. At the very least, the problem must have importance to the researcher, but ideally it should also be of consequence to others. First of all, it should satisfy the researcher whether it is useful or not. If the researcher himself or herself finds it is significant, then only it will be important, it will be given importance by the others. When people will give importance, it has potential. When it has potential, it is doable, obviously, within the time frame budget. That is very important. There are logistic factors in terms of your ability actually to carry out the research. There is no point pursuing a problem which is not feasible to research, obviously. Do not do a study of education in India unless you have the means to go there and collect data. This is given the example. For example, you are in other country. You want to study related to maybe study behaviors or something. If your budget and feasibility is not there, how you will go to India then? So that could be the question of the researcher of foreign country researcher. So which may require years to collect. Sometimes from India people want to do research of other countries. It will take years because it's not feasible. It's not budget friendly also. So this factor helps explain why few theses relate to longitudinal data. The only exceptions come from research shops where there is a long history of collecting and studying data on a defined population. So Terman's study of Genius 1954, in which a defined sample was traced over 30 years. That is a good sample. So longitudinal basis only it can happen. If you want to do in short, it's not possible. So whatever research you are selecting question, that should be doable within the time frame and also the budget friendly. Eighth one, sufficient data are available or can be obtained. Obviously, in some cases there are insufficient data to address the problem. So historical persons may have died, archival materials may be lost, or there may be restrictions on access to certain environments. As noted, it is difficult to conduct research on a distant country unless you can go there and collect local data. These are all certain issues which you have to keep in mind. One underused approach is to use an existing database. Some data banks have been developed over many years and contain many opportunities for exploration of new questions and issues. Every issue might have options or answers to that. Here also some data banks are there, you can take the help of them also, but you must keep in mind that whatever data you want, that should be sufficient for your research work, and it should be properly available, and you can be able to obtain them easily. Ninth one, the researcher's methodological strengths can be applied to the problem. Obviously, methodologies are very, very important. There are a lot of different methods of conducting research, and each comes with its own set of strengths and weaknesses. Researchers need to think a lot about how these different research methodologies might work together, while most researchers are exposed to a variety of methodologies which can be applied to the problem. So, the researcher, whoever want to do the research, they should be very clear in their mind, crisp and clear, what kind of methodologies will suit to their research statement or problem, because so many methodologies are there which is useful and suitable. Finding out is very important to the researcher. Next one, 10th one, the problem is new. It is not already answered sufficiently. This is very, very important. If it is answered n number of time, nobody will be interested to read that article or the thesis or the research work done by anyone. So we need to know what researchers have done in the area on the topic to help set up and define a new problem that exists in the research. That's why we have to find out the significances and the results, and also the findings according to the findings, they also suggest some research to be done in that area for future. So that also we must see very keenly. We must answer the question, what do we already know from the research, to set up the issue of what we do not know. This is the best statement we must remember while taking up any research work. That is, what do we already know from the research, to set up the issue of what we do not know. So these are all the good characteristics of a research or a good research or good research problem. I will come up with the next class in the next video. If you like the video, please do like, share, subscribe and comment below. Thanks for your attention and time. Happy learning.